Thanks to the new Days Played feature from 1.21, I can tell you it's been over 70 Minecraft days since I first stepped foot inside of a trial chamber, and in that time I have gathered every single item from the 1.21 update, with just 2 exceptions. These are items both rarer than the heavy core or the mace, and if you want to know how rare they are and how to get your hands on them alongside every other item from 1.21, this is the video for you. Hello, I'm AbbyXToyCat, and this is for the completionists out there, but you need to know that a lot of the items in this update can simply be crafted. If you want to make a crafter, you craft it like so. It's very fitting that there's a crafting table right inside there of it, but it's also fitting that you can craft all of the brand new copper blocks, but you can also use a stone cutter, which is much more efficient. You can also mine for all of the copper blocks from a trial chamber, with the exception of the copper trapdoors, so keep that in mind if you want all of these. Also, you can do the same with tough, and that is how you get all of these different recipes. A stone cutter truly is magical for this. One tough block can become any of these items, and so tough and copper are very, very abundant in your world. These items aren't rare in the slightest, and so the first really rare item we'll talk about today is obviously going to be the trial chamber map. Getting your hands on a trial chamber map involves going to a cartographer, which is the medieval version of Google Maps, but instead of paying with your data, you have to pay with emeralds, and these emeralds can buy you a map which will point you right to the nearest trial chamber. Follow this in the direction of the arrow, and eventually you'll find where a trial chamber is by digging down. Digging down can be dangerous, but it's totally worth doing so for the rewards you'll get inside. This can include a breeze rod. This seems like it should be a rare item, but it's actually not very, because it's dropped by breezes, and it comes from a trial spawner, and breeze spawners are found in almost every single trial spawner. In a trial chamber, you should be able to find this in basically every trial chamber. So that means that you can get these breeze rods, and you can use those to craft the wind charge. You can also get wind charges from vaults at a just under 10% chance, or ominous vaults at a just over half chance. This is very incredible by itself. You could craft it from the breeze rods, but personally I'm keeping my hands on these. You can only really use them to craft the mace or to make potions right now, but I reckon in the future there'll be a good reason to have stacks of these lying around, and so I'm making a hoarding based decision, and if you want to agree with me, you should store these too. What you also might want to do is start hoarding pillager captains. These are an event that happen every couple of hours in real world time, and if you kill a pillager captain, you'll get an ominous bottle as well as the banner. It'll be anywhere from level 1 to level 5. In my case, I got the very highest level. So yeah, these bad omen bottles that you get from pillager captains can also be found inside of the vaults and the ominous vaults at about a 1 in 6 chance each, and they come in 5 separate levels. A lot of people have questioned what are the different levels for, and they're not any rarer than each other outside of the ways that you actually find them, but they are more useful when you go higher up. Bad Omen 1 will only give you 15 minutes of Trial Omen, and when you defeat a village with Raid Omen, you'll only get the basic Hero of the Village effect, but if you use Bad Omen 5, you'll get 75 minutes of Trial Omen, and if you defeat a village with it, you'll have an extra wave in the raid, and also get a longer Hero of the Village effect. Pretty cool feature if you ask me. Speaking of pretty cool features, turning a trial spawner into an ominous spawner can be done using these Bad Omen bottles, and it will recharge them immediately, which means I just defeated it and got this potion of regeneration, which is lovely, but I could get even more effects if I want to. I don't know how I defeated it. There's some husks clearly over there and over there, but you know, this is a weird world. Just like how trial spawners are weird for giving you trial keys. About half of the time you take down a trial vault, you will get half the time you take down a trial spawner, you'll get a key which can be used in the vault. Just like how if you take down an ominous trial spawner, you'll get an ominous trial key for the ominous vault. And so now we can also find trial keys in chests and pots, but you can't find ominous trial spawner keys anywhere else. You need to take down ominous trials, which is the incentive to use the super hard difficulty they basically entail. Next up, we have new potions. These also aren't rare. You just need to get one of these 4 items and put them in an awkward potion, and then you'll get the 4 new effects, or you can then add gunpowder to them to get the 4 new splash potions, add the dragon's breath to them, and you'll get 4 new lingering potions, and if you're on Bedrock, you can use them to fill up a cauldron, which, as you can see, makes these lovely new coloured cauldron effects, I guess. This is something you might want to do if you want to make the new tipped arrows, I guess you could say. Speaking of new tipped arrows that I guess you could say, the most rare item in 1.21, according to most people, is the heavy core. This is the most valuable rare item in the update, so it kind of gets conflated. It has just a 7.5% chance of dropping from an ominous vault, and that ominous vault only has you only have a 30% chance of getting the key, and that's only after you get this rare drop of the Bad Omen bottle to begin with. So you can see how rarity on rarity on rarity that's only 7.5% chance might seem like the hardest item to get, but trust me when I say it does get harder. But first, we'll take advantage of this mace recipe, which by the way looks like so, to craft ourselves a mace, which we can then enchant. And we can enchant this quite easily to get density and breach. We can trade for it, or get them from vaults, or get it from structure loot even, or even just enchant right for the density and the breach. It's crazy that that is possible. Not with level 1 we can't. But you can see that we can just do all of these these 4 things to get these 2 enchantments, but we'll come back to that 3rd enchantment later because it is the rarest item in this update. But there are some cosmetics which have very counterintuitive odds, such as the fact that if you want the 2 new armor trims, this is the better one for most people, but it has a 22.5% chance versus the other trim, which obviously this is the bolt trim, which has a 5.4% chance. Why is it so vastly different? And the answer is that there are more trial vaults, there are regular vaults in your world than there are ominous vaults, and so even though this is about 4 times less common than this, in reality there's almost 4 times more of these than these, and so they're about as rare as each other. This same logic is why you can find this banner pattern about 4 times less than this banner pattern. I still don't have my hands on, interestingly enough, one of the items you can find from the trial vault, which is actually the same logic applying here. If you want to take down a lot of ominous trial vaults, you'll eventually find Creator. This is the best and in most people's opinion rarest music disc, but if you want Precipice, you have to use a regular vault about 30 times on average, and so this is the music disc which I think I enjoy most from this update, but it's the music disc I have no way of getting my hands on because I need to go through a lot of vaults, a lot more vaults than I already have been. Weirdly enough, I have got my hands on lots of copies of Creator Music Box, even though this is rarer in practice, because this is 1 level of rare and this is 2 levels of rare. You need to get trial keys, which are kind of rare, and then you need to use vaults, which are very limited, whereas there are so many of these in your world, and this is the hard thing about trying to distill things down to odds, but that is why after I mention the new paintings, which aren't rare, you just place them down and they'll make a lovely addition to my art gallery in my world. But it's worth mentioning, at least very slightly in this update, that yeah, there is one item which is rarer than all the rest, and trying to describe how rare it is very hard, but let me give you my best shot right now. So Windburst is only found in level 1. The Minecraft wiki says you can find it level 1 through 3, but if you look at the actual changelog for Minecraft 1.21, you can only get Windburst in level 1 form, and that is crazy by itself, but finding this only in level 1 is the least of your concerns, let me tell you, because of the fact that it is so incredibly rare. Interestingly, also, the wiki gets this slightly wrong. According to the actual game files, finding Windburst has about a 5% chance on the Java edition, but only a 1.38% chance on the Bedrock edition for every single ominous spawner used, which means that you need to rely on going through about 75 separate ominous vaults before you have a decent chance of getting Windburst 1, which is only the 3rd highest level of this that you can get. If you want to get Windburst 3, then as you can see, you need to combine Windburst 1 together twice to make Windburst 2, then combine it twice again to make Windburst 2 again, and then combine it to make Windburst 3, and only then will you be able to put it on your mace. However, that means you need to get this enchantment 4 times, which at a 1 in 75 chance means you need to go through 300 ominous vaults on average. Some people will get it in less, but some people will take more than that many, which is an insane amount of your world you're going to have to explore just to find those trial chambers. And also consider that you don't get an ominous key every single time you go to an ominous trial spawner, but instead you get it 30% of the time, which means you actually need to take down more or less dead on 1,000 trial spawners of the ominous variety before you will get Windburst. And honestly, I don't know if this is the intentional way or if the Java way is intentional and it's only meant to be more like 250 ominous trial spawners, but this is an incredibly rare enchantment, and honestly, I think my basic take is that that is insanely very hard to get, but also it doesn't seem that unfair when you consider that this is an enchantment that can and will literally kill you in many cases. Here is a horse, for example. If I want to Windburst him, I'm going to go flying very high into the air to the point where I will literally die on impact if I don't bring feather falling. So that does seem like a fair way to balance that, or is it? Let me know what you think, but for now, I know that my odds of getting this until they confirm or clarify or fix what's going on there are very, very, very low. It's not going to stop me from trying, but just know my quest for Windburst is going to take a lot longer than expected, while my quest for Precipice, my final music disc, is going to be a lot sooner, and I look forward to getting that on stream soon. With that said though, this is how you get every single 1.21 item. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it to be useful. If you did, consider subscribing. I hope to make useful and informative Minecraft videos every single day on this channel, and hopefully you subscribe to see more of them on your homepage. Goodbye.